Wait. Welcome back to Not Just the Water Boys. Today we're just going to be talking about the NBA playoffs.
Okay, since we're halfway into the first round of this playoff, who do you think will possibly upset the higher seed?
I think the main upset opportunity is San Antonio and Denver. I think San Antonio can get them in 5 games. They're not going to lose at home. Then once they're up 3-1, it's kind of inevitable that they'll be moving on. So yeah, San Antonio, Denver. I think San Antonio is going to make it to the conference finals. I have them beating Portland as well. Then in the East, I think that Brooklyn, even though they're down 2-1, I still think that they're probably going to end up winning the series in a 4-2. So they're going to win the next 3 games easily. So the only thing you said right there was San Antonio beating Denver. Portland is about to sweep OKC. The series everyone thought OKC would win. And then Portland is easily going to get past San Antonio and play either the Rockets or Warriors in the conference finals. Then also, the Sixers aren't going to lose to Brooklyn, but they won't get past the Raptors in the second round.
I agree with everything you just said.
Thank you.
Exactly. San Antonio is winning against Denver. That's obvious right now. But they're not beating Portland.
Damian Lillard.
DeMar DeRozan will choke eventually in the playoffs.
It's inevitable.
LeBron just needs to be in the building. And it'll shut down.
LeBron can just sit behind him and DeRozan will break his leg. Alright, first I'd like to say that San Antonio is going to go to the conference finals. Greg Popovich versus Terry Stotts. It's not just about the coach. Greg Popovich got his team to 7th. Terry Stotts got his team to 3rd. In Portland, if you look at their supporting cast, they're not even that much better than San Antonio. If you look at the way San Antonio played in the second half of the season, once DeMar DeRozan became fully integrated into their team system, they're the better team. The reason they're the 7th seed is they started awfully. They had a really bad first 20 or 30 games, but after that they picked it up and they were a team that you can't really mess around with. Okay, so after that same time CJ McCollum was out and the Trailblazers were still able to get to the spot where they are right now. With Damian Lillard, and who's the next best guy? Nurkic? So Nurkic is injured, and that's another reason they won't win. You can say Enes Kanter went off in Game 1, scored 20 points. In Game 2, he had 6 points. That's not enough. Who's he playing? Jakob Poeltl? Enes Kanter's not that much worse than him. That's a fine matchup. No, but Jakob Poeltl only plays center to start and finish the game. Most of the middle of the game, LaMarcus Aldridge actually plays the 5, and they have the stretch big. And I don't think Enes Kanter can guard LaMarcus Aldridge. But I don't think LaMarcus Aldridge can guard Enes Kanter in the paint. Enes Kanter is a dominant paint point. LaMarcus Aldridge has been playing well, and he'll be a struggle for them defensively. But at the same time, San Antonio defensively, Kanter on LaMarcus. Kanter's the bigger guy, and he'll be able to get offensive boards and putbacks. All I'd like to say is that LaMarcus Aldridge was an all-star, not only for his offense, but also in part for his defense. And his Kanter, he's most notoriously known for when he was a goon back in OKC. A goon? I mean, yeah, I guess. But Enes Kanter, I'm not talking about the only reason Portland's going to win is because of Enes Kanter. They're a better team than San Antonio. You said San Antonio's going to win because of Pop, but at the end of the day, Pop can't put on shorts and play. There's only so much a coach can do. So San Antonio, they have DeMar DeRozan, LaMarcus Aldridge, and then you also have Derek White, who's blossoming into a terrific.
Names that don't matter in the playoffs.
All right, exactly. DeMar DeRozan matters now. Wait, 18, 16, and 25.
Everyone you just mentioned is irrelevant when it comes to the playoffs. They might be good during the regular season. Exactly. They might do enough to get their team in the playoffs, but they're not going to do anything.
What has Damian Lillard done in the playoffs?
Well, he's doing something now.
What is DeMar DeRozan doing now?
Nothing.
DeMar DeRozan is a choke artist. There's a reason he got traded from Toronto. All right, LeBron's not in the playoffs. Even last year, DeMar played fine until he played LeBron. He's not going to have to play LeBron regardless. He's fine until next season when the Lakers are good.
He's not going to play LeBron. He's going to play Damian Lillard. That's almost even more scary.
It's not. It's really not.
No, think about it.
LeBron proved to us this year that he's a boofer.
Yeah. LeBron was not what made that team work. Actually, yes, last year
Last
he is.
year,
but
last
this
year,
year
LeBron
they
was
didn't
the
do
heart and
anything.
soul
He
of
did
the
less
Cleveland Cavaliers.
with more this year than he did last year with Cleveland.
DeMar DeRozan, he's just known for choking, man. He's a choker.
All right, so
I
besides,
love the guy. He did great stuff for Toronto, but he's
every
a
single
boomer.
middle-aged white basketball fan.
All right, so besides the whole Portland San Antonio scenario in the second round, who do you think coming out of the Warriors Rockets series?
That's actually really tough for me. It could go either way. It depends on just how the Warriors can rebound without Cousins, see what they can do. There's no Patrick Beverly factor on Houston that can. Well, he didn't even shut down Durant. We just saw him go off.
Yeah.
PJ Tucker, but I think the Warriors would have an advantage, but Houston can pull off an upset. It wouldn't be impossible. So I think you pulled up a really good point. Golden State going into the playoffs, everyone thought it was going to be guaranteed they're going to win, but now they don't have Boogie Cousins anymore. He's out for the rest of the season, well, postseason, because of a quad injury, right? So that really gives chance for Capella to really be dominant down low. And then, of course, James Harden can't be stopped. Chris Paul has proven himself to be very good in the playoffs. I could see this Houston team winning, but then again, the Warriors are just such a good team. Kevin Durant last night scored 38 points. I don't see anyone being able to truly defeat them in 4 games. They could get to a game 7, but I don't think they could win in 7.
I mean, I'm gonna have to disagree with you slightly on that. I see the Golden State Warriors going all the way.
Well, I just said.
I know, but I don't think they're gonna have trouble against the Rockets. I see their loss to the Clippers a couple nights ago just as like a one-day thing. I mean, they lost their starting center, right?
I mean,
you can't really plan for that. Also,
I mean, four All-Stars against the All-Starless team. It should be an easy game.
exactly, but that's just one game, and they did bounce back last night, and they put up a strong win in Los Angeles.
So I'm gonna have to disagree a little bit with both of you. First, the whole Clint Capella thing. If you don't think Enes Kanter can do good against Jakob Poeltl, then why on earth do you think Clint Capella will dominate Andrew Bogut? And
Clint Capella's versatile. Bogut is just a paint press.
Bogut was the first pick. He was on the Warriors when they rose to fame. He's a good guy.
Clint Capella's better.
Clint Capella is just like bootleg Nene, you know, like little taller, little stronger. You don't really know who he is. On any other team, Clint Capella wouldn't be this good.
Yes, he would. He'd be better because he'd get more touches.
You'd get more touches, and that would ruin him because he can't actually do stuff with the ball. He's literally just Mr. Putback. Get a rebound, put it in. Layups. That's it. All right.
Wow.
So, we brought up the point of the Golden State Warriors going all the way again. I honestly don't think that they can go all the way again because for the sheer reason that no team in the history of basketball has had, or NBA, has won the championship while having a defensive rating that was outside of the top 10 in the league. Golden State Warriors are too bad of a defense.
No other team in NBA history have been the Warriors.
Well, yes, but we brought up the point.
No other team has blown a 3-1 lead.
Okay, we brought up the point that the Warriors, yes, okay, cool. They're good at offense, right? But their defense is pretty bad. If you can let the Clippers come back from 31 points in 1.5 quarters.
One night thing. They
Hey,
bounced back.
no, that's a good point. If the Clippers can beat the Warriors,
the Clippers-
Rockets can beat the
If
Warriors.
the Clippers can beat the Warriors, like with that, imagine what Giannis could do to that team. Imagine what Kawhi Leonard could do to that team.
Imagine what.
D'Angelo Russell could do to
Okay,
that. They're not gonna make it
Anyone
that
can
far.
do anything to the Warriors for that point, all right? Patrick Beverly and Lou Williams beat the Warriors one night. Okay, I don't think that should haunt the whole hype on the Warriors.
I
'Cause
feel
the Warriors are definitely gonna make the finals this year. I don't think anyone in the Western Conference.
But
can
I
stop
feel like
No, I don't think they'll win. I think the champion's coming out of the East.
I feel like the Warriors this year are like Duke, just too good to win.
Oh.
Something bad's gonna
You know what?
happen, and somehow they're gonna lose when no one saw
Michigan
it coming.
State, San Antonio.
San Antonio's not Michigan State.
Yeah, defense team, great coach,
Oh my.
great all-around program. They have a guy who in the past people thought was good and was bad in the postseason, but he's incredibly amazing. Like, they're Michigan State. They're gonna beat Duke.
So I think you accidentally said San Antonio besides Portland, but I mean that's fine. Some people make mistakes. But yeah, otherwise it was a good synopsis.
All right, so now I think we should talk about the Eastern Conference. let's face it, seeds 3 through 6 are pretty useless, irrelevant. They're not going to go anywhere. Let's talk about Milwaukee and Toronto, okay? They're going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals. Who do you think is going to the finals, and who do you think can ultimately beat the Warriors?
Honestly, this Toronto-Milwaukee matchup is harder to tell for me than like Golden State-Houston. It can honestly swing either way. Definitely going to 7. I think we all know that.
It's a game of just a couple players at this point. Because if they can stop Giannis or Milwaukee can stop Kawhi.
Well, one thing that makes
Pascal.
both of these teams great is like you said, like, so if they do, I agree with you that if they stop one guy, they have a huge advantage.
Yeah.
But both of these teams have such good depth in their rosters
Exactly.
that, like, if Giannis is down, Middleton will step up. Brogdon's injured. Brook Lopez will step up. If Kawhi's out, Lowry and Siakam will step up. Or if Lowry's out again, then Marc Gasol.
I mean, just like you said, I mean, this is going to be a battle of the league's 2 most complete teams. And I think the Raptors are going to pull this out because not only are they have the most, like, playoff experience roster, but they also have Kawhi Leonard. And I think he's past finals MVP, I think that's going to be the difference maker in this series.
I would like to bring it up that Kawhi Leonard does have the highest playoff win percentage. And I think that does have to go to show for something. I mean, this is the same guy who with a post-prime Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker. Even though they're post-prime, they're still incredibly good. But he led that team to beat the Miami Heat Big Three at age 23.
If you look at the finals
Specifically, that was 100% Manu Ginobili.
No,
it wasn't,
was
because
Kawhi.
Finals MVP was actually Kawhi Leonard.
Manu was the heart and soul to that team.
Anyway, the Raptors, I think the only issue the Raptors could have is if Kyle Lowry plays bad, but I think that depends on tonight, right? Game 1, we saw him 0 points. Game 2, he played phenomenally. Tonight's Game 3, I say if he can put a couple games together and play well today too, then that means he'll probably be fine for the rest of the playoffs. And if that happens, they're good. Well, I think Lowry, he just reflects Toronto, you know. He'll be solid throughout. But they suck at game 1s. The Raptors are like 2-12 or something like that in game 1s.
Because the Bucks have home
So
court that game anyway.
Raptors, like Lowry, he might be awful for every single game 1, then do phenomenal for the rest of the series. But I don't know.
I don't think we should talk about the game 1 curse. I think it's just matchup specific. Because I mean, I just think
Augustine isn't that much of a matchup. He went off.
The thing is, the Raptors, even if
Kyle Lowry plays bad, Fred VanVleet has proven himself to be one of the best backup point guards in this league, and he can still lead the offense.
Dinwiddie.
Good. Dinwiddie, okay. Dinwiddie's good, yeah. But Dinwiddie's not going to make it this far in the playoffs.
Or Dennis Schroeder.
When we come to the final 4 teams in the league, the best backup point guard is going to be Fred VanVleet. Milwaukee's backup point guard's not as good. Golden State's not as good. And San Antonio's backup point guard is not as good.
Why are you so persistent on San Antonio being in the Final Four?
It's going to be Portland. Is losing in the semifinals.
They're not. They're really not.
All right, okay. That's a topic for another day. But let's go back to Toronto and Milwaukee here, okay?
Milwaukee.
Yes. All right, so besides just home court advantage, what do you think is going to be a difference maker here?
So I think it's going to be Kawhi and Danny Green's championship experience. Like, that goes for something. When you're that deep in the playoffs,
experience really does matter. And those 2 guys with San Antonio, that's what they have. They're veterans with experience, and one of them is an NBA superstar who's a top 2 player in the league. I think it's just going to come down to outside shots. Everything else, these teams are pretty similar in, but one thing, Toronto has a huge advantage shooting the 3 ball compared to Milwaukee. So if Toronto can hit their shots, I think they have a much easier chance of winning.
All right, so assuming it's Warriors and Raptors in the NBA Finals this year, who do you think is going to win that? Because honestly, I think it could go either way. It just depends on how each team plays from the opening buzzer to the end.
So as I said earlier, I don't think the Golden State Warriors could beat the Raptors or the Bucks just because of their lack of defense. But I do think, they do have 4 All-Stars now that Boogie's out. That's still a lot of talent. They're all championship proven. They all know what to do to win a title. So I think they could easily put up a good fight. But in the end, I'd have to go with Toronto in this scenario because, in my point of view, they're the better defensive team. And Kevin Durant, he's proven himself time and time again to be the best scorer of this era in the NBA, but Kawhi Leonard has also proven himself time and time again to not only be a great scorer, but one of the best defenders in this league. Most likely Well, if he played every game this season, he probably would have won Defensive Player of the Year as well.
Yeah.
So I think Toronto has 2 chances to win. Winning game 1 or bringing the Golden State to 7. Because historically, Golden State, the teams that they have brought to 7 games are the series that they've struggled in. Like against the Cavs, Houston a while back. They've won a bunch of them, but they have a much less chance of winning in 7 games than they do in all other games. And if Toronto wins game 1, then they'll have so much momentum because who has home court advantage?
Toronto, they have the better record.
So they'd have the home court start off on a dub, then they could carry.
We all know Toronto's home court.
Toronto's home court is huge, so they could bring that momentum into the away games, which would be huge for a team like that.
All right, I'm gonna have to disagree with you guys on this, even though I'm a Toronto Raptors fan. My heart tells me to pick the Raptors, but my head tells me Warriors. Just because, I mean, they're the Warriors. You really can't bet against them. I mean, Kawhi Leonard, he's still going to stay in Toronto. He's like the rest of the team.
If they make the championship, he's going to stay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think at this point, it just depends on how the games go. You can't really predict this, in my opinion. It just depends on who plays better basketball from tip-off to the end.
And to all of those listening who think Boston or Philadelphia are going to make it to the finals,
They're really not.
unsubscribe. We don't care. They're not. Sorry. Boston is just a bunch of boofers playing together. You have
You
Kyrie.
can't have Uncle Drew take you to the finals.
You have Jason Tatum, who has less 30-point games than Montrezl Harrell, and that's 1, by the way. And just a bunch of ball hogs who can't play together that well. Kyrie beat Indiana just because, I don't know, Indiana doesn't have Oladipo.
Indiana's actually
Boston-
cursed against Boston, though. Like,
Boston's
if you look
their
at the way they play
kryptonite.
against them, they always play bad against
Boston's
Boston.
not getting past the Bucks. Philadelphia might not get past the Knicks.
The Nets.
For the Nets, sorry. I mean,
That's next year.
Yeah, next year. Philadelphia and Boston are just the 2 teams that have plenty of all-stars, plenty of talent. Just
we can't do anything with
they're awful.
They forgot
if
that
you
there's only
look
one basketball.
if you look on paper, Boston, Philadelphia.
He said that's perfect for Philly.
Thing is with Philadelphia, they forgot that they have to share one basketball. That's what
Exactly.
that's. They tried to copy the Warriors formula of pairing a bunch of all stars.
Yeah,
but the
they
thing
have-
is, the Warriors re-signed the people they drafted, and they had free agents come in. Philadelphia is trading and making these players come in to their organization.
You have to play Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler has to play a lot of minutes with the second group because if you put their second group in alone, Bogdanovich is their only good player, right? Like everyone else, like what the hell even are some of these guys? Like Mike Scott is not a
Boban.
6th man, all right? Oh, Boban, sorry. My bad. Sorry, I was thinking of Indiana. My bad. But anyway, you got the point. The then-
Oh,
tall guy. First of all, Boston's never making the finals when you see their season like this. I don't know how they ended up as the 4th seed.
Honestly,
But that is the most struggling I've seen a team done and make the playoffs. That's like if the Lakers made the playoffs this season. It's awful.
all right. So I think we're done for today. All right, check back next week for updates on the playoffs and yeah.
And we'll probably go on more NFL seasons about like coming up. And
Draft's
stuff.
coming up.
So yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Like, share, subscribe, comment.
Anything you
Tell Abby you like him. He'll enjoy it. Have a nice day.
We're gonna cut it. We're gonna cut it.